All right, guys, today we got a special guest in the house back for his second interview. This man really needs no introduction at all. His contributions in hip hop have been cemented, and now his talk, his shit game on IG is even more notorious. I'm talking about the one and only MC Shan.
What's good, yo?
Shan, how you doing, my brother?
I got a feeling at any minute that there's a picture going to go up and scare me because I don't see any pictures of nobody. So next thing you know, it's going to go.
Yo, thank you so much for coming on today, man. First of all, I got to thank you, Shan. I'm going to give you your flowers. Our last interview where you spoke about Eminem not being a culture vulture, despite other people thinking that he is, got mentioned on the source.com. So I know you used to being mentioned in all types of magazines and having critical acclaim, but I'm still on the come up. So that meant a lot to me to be mentioned on something like that, because being a kid, because you said it and they mentioned this, they mentioned my platform and everything. Because, me being a kid and reading the Source magazine in the grocery store, not being able to buy a copy and, being able to be mentioned on that platform, it meant a lot to me. So thank you for that, man.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity.
So you got the internet buzzing lately, Shan. What is going on, man?
Ain't really nothing. The internet is buzzing because the internet is stupid. And I'll tell you why the internet is stupid, right? Because we can see this is plainly a blue lighter, right?
Right.
But you're trying to tell me it's a yellow pen, right? And now I'm saying it's a blue lighter, and we know the blue lighter is the truth. They'd rather believe that this yellow pen is the lighter. Although that everything says this is right, they use their feelings. They tell me, for the situation I'm going in right now, right? Shan, you're wrong for saying that. You're wrong for doing that. How is that when this guy says that millions of times, right? And black people are sitting around, I side with him. Well, shouldn't we side with what's right? If he didn't do the right thing, I don't care what I said anywhere. Should we be able to stick to the law instead of what you say can be used against you in the court of anything? It's bugged out, man. It's real bugged out, this industry. It's a setup, I'm telling you.
Right. So let's fill people in, right? For those that don't know.
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you said the internet is buzzing already, so let them buzz with that.
Right. Okay. All right. So
it's really not a subject. All it is learn your business. Learn what's yours. Learn what not to get jerked for. Learn what you're getting ready to get into. It's a devious game. Period. Devious.
Because it's not personal for you. You love the people that are involved. It's just that you would appreciate if things were handled in the correct manner.
Exactly. Being the person that's involved that done this and had people come at him and he's come at others, I think that you should already know this from the time of conception of the projects.
Right. And I saw you had a little fun though, right? You was talking about the boat.
Oh yeah.
You was having a little fun.
I got my fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody likes to take things serious, but I'm talking to somebody that they don't know. They don't know this person. I know this person personally. You see what I'm saying? And so they get in their opinions and in their fact-finding mission, but the fact is, this is my man's in them. All right? So I could tease him about a boat. I could tease him about them things, and people are going to take that and push it over the edge. So that's why when I was saying that, I said, yo, Pete, don't let these folks, well, I said his name anyway. I said, yo, don't let these folks push us over the edge with this, and we start getting at it. You dig what I'm saying? This is business. It's nothing personal at all. But everybody.
But do you think that you should have called him instead?
I shouldn't have had to call him about anything. The first clue to him should have been, yo, holla at your man. You know what I'm saying? They trying to use that as some type of, oh, you said this, you said you did that. No, the bottom line is, did you do it? I don't care what I said. The bottom line is, did you do what he said? And like I said, and under the law, it should be done automatically. I shouldn't have to sit back and have to say, well, you said this, well, you said this. Well, under the law, it says you're supposed to do this in the first place. So where's the fight at?
Right.
There shouldn't be any fight, but this is what happens to us as hip-hop artists. In hip-hop, my joint is like a Bon Jovi hit record, right? Classic. Let you take a Bon Jovi record and see what happens. Let you take a Bon Jovi joint, see what happens. You ain't got, you could say what, you can't, what, give me my money. But when it comes to hip-hop, they put you through a bunch of loops so that you can't get to the money, because the man who with the money gonna put a protector between him and that money and keep making it hard for you to get to it. It's been that way in this game.
What do you think it is about hip hop that makes it difficult like that? Because when you think about it, right, if this is a black art form and most of the people that are involved in that sense are black, so shouldn't we be taking care of each other? Like, shouldn't it have like kind of that mentality more of like, I do right by you because there are already other people jerking us anyways?
Yeah, well, but you got to think that we've been stuck in this mentality so long. And I call those that do that agents. They're agents, because when you're seeking the truth, they like to come and throw a little bull crap in there that you should, so you can't see what the truth is. And that's what I call those that be on my timeline saying that. Those are agents that are sent in to say, fix this, fix this. Make sure there's some kind of doubt to it. Make sure that there's no truth that brings to whatever the fuck. And that's what happens. People get swayed by opinion instead of using their brain and saying this is a blue lighter, not a yellow highlighter. Mm-hmm. They just rather go with the yellow highlighter just because of the ash conformity experiment. People should look that up. And what that is you can take one person, like I said, let's use the lighter again, and one person, and he said, yeah, this is a lighter. Now, all of a sudden, you sit 4 and 5 other people in the room, and they start rejecting his thing of this is a lighter, and they start claiming that this is a lighter. Your human instinct to want to be a part of will start saying, this is the lighter, the ash experiment, and that's what the internet is. It's like, you don't want to be not amongst the populace and whatnot. And some people that want to be amongst the populace, they gravitate towards that garbage because they don't want to be the one that stands up and says, I disagree with the rest of you. So I'm willing to have all the fingers point at me because I don't agree with you. Mm-hmm. And some people won't do that. They'll rather join the flock of what's popular or what's not being, and sit in the corner and be miserable. Not me.
I think that a lot of people rather be told what to think rather than think for themselves.
Exactly. That's what AI is about. And AI is a bigger thing because they're about to take and drop all education. Because why should we educate you people when they done made us think AI is fast and efficient? No, what it is making it to where we don't have to educate you because we got this machine doing it for everybody. So educational system's going to be gone. It's going to be a whole lot of other things gone.
So you were saying that, yeah, so like people are getting so lazy that they're relying on AI to do everything, right? So it's like they're doing like, oh, write me an essay, write me a poem, instead of like having the natural talent to hone their craft and everything. It's pretty crazy now.
Right, and also they don't notice that the AI is replacing people in stores. Well, you used to have much cashiers, now you got a lot of these self-checkout lines. It means less employees, which means that AI is taking over. Some restaurants have just automated everything, getting you prepared for what's to come, son.
Right. It's like that movie I, Robot was really, back in the day, was really showing us what the future is going to potentially look like.
The movies always told us what you look like. Stanley Kubrick was famous for that. And Stanley Kubrick, if you don't know who he is, he's the one. He made 2001. Stanley Kubrick goes back. They say that Stanley Kubrick was the one that helped fake the film Moon Landing. He filmed the fake moon landing. He knew secrets. You ever remember that movie Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah.
That told about the Illuminati. Right around the time when he was finishing that movie, he disappeared. He disappeared. He just no longer with us anymore.
Wow.
He knew too many secrets. Look up Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick knew a lot, and they was giving it to us in film since 2000. Look, 2001. You know that old movie, Space Odyssey, 2001. They was making that back then. Look at us now. We got space stations. How could he know that? He did The Shining. He had symbols and signals in The Shining. All kind of crazy stuff going on in Stanley Kubrick's movies, man.
So, Shan, you strongly do believe that there is a Illuminati? There's a group that oversees everything and that makes things happen?
There's a group that's showing the rich people now that you ain't part of our group. Because do you see what happened to L.A.? I think it was a punishment to, the rich people. They took their insurance, and there's a rumor saying that they did that to hide the secrets of the tunnels underneath L.A. that went everywhere to save Puffy and Mr. Weinstein. What's his other name? Epstein.
Epstein,
because they got to find out all of that. And
but there was a lot of poor people, too, that were affected by that have lost their homes, too.
What you call that? Casualties of war. Casualties of war. That also made it profitable for those Baron Hawks to come in and buy up everything. Remember, They want to make Los Angeles a fucking smart city. How they going to do it with all of that property being taken up by this house, that house? And come on, where them flies coming from?
Right. I know that's one of the conspiracies that's going on right now, because they're saying that, the Olympics is coming soon and they want it to be a smart city.
All right, but check this out. You also seen that it wasn't burning things that were blue, right? You didn't see that part?
No. So what does that mean?
Anything that was blue wasn't getting burnt. Okay, so when you go through the color spectrum, when you spray that laser, it'll turn on fire on yellow, it'll turn on fire on green, it'll turn on fire on red. But when you put it to the color blue, it doesn't ignite. Right? So if you go look at some of those, go look at all the blue things, Google it, all the blue things that didn't burn in L.A. All the blue things that didn't burn. I'm no conspiracy theorist. I just keep my eyes wide open.
What do you think about when you talk about, some of these things that are a little more controversial? People automatically say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist.
I just say that it's a difference of opinion. And the only way we're going to come to a conclusion is to get some type of understanding. Larry! Go turn that meat off for me. I can't get up. My phone going to cut off. It's like, say that question again.
Like how when you have a difference of opinion or you say something controversial, people often will be like, oh, you a conspiracy theorist, you buying into all these things, because it's the less popular opinion.
I just said earlier about the agents. The agents are there as misinformation givers. They give you're getting too close. Let me throw you a little bone and make you get off of that. Now you spend your time, they throw you a bone that looks so breathtaking that it could be true and it can't be true, but now it stops you from looking further at what you were looking at. Excuse me, because they gave you something that was so shiny and it almost resembles what we're looking for, but the truth ain't there.
Got you. So there's been a lot going on in hip hop that you've also been a part of that I wanted to get you to, clarify your thoughts on. In our last interview, we spoke about Fat Joe's comments about hip hop being created 50-50 by blacks and Puerto Ricans. And you said You don't know how we can debate that since the Bronx is filled with Puerto Ricans, and you gave examples of how Puerto Ricans contributed to hip hop with breakdancing and the fashion and graffiti. KRS-One had came out with a video, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said anyone that is trying to minimize Puerto Ricans' involvement in the creation is stupid. He said it was FBA, Puerto Ricans, and Jamaicans that created it. Lord Jamar said that was bullshit. You had originally agreed with KRS-One, but then Lord Jamar did some live streams and dropped some videos of kids that.
But that's all bullshit. Don't you see that? It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit to keep us fighting, and we fucking go for it every time. Now, we're not paying attention to the main factors of how people are jerking you. Now, all we worried about is who came first and who was last, and this, that, and the... Nothing that gets any of us a dollar value, period. The wheel, somebody invented the wheel back in the Roman days. You think who gives a fuck? All right, the wheel is still here, ain't it? Nobody cares who made the wheel. It's still here, and it's still being used by humans today. And nobody give a fuck who made it. And who, anybody know the name of the person that invented the wheel? Hell no.
No, we don't.
Thank you.
But you don't think
insignificant points and factors, especially when claiming that wheel has no beneficial currency or financial gain to you.
But you don't think that because, Black people have created so many genres of music that there's a level of sensitivity when it comes to other people, coming in and potentially saying that they created it.
How can there be a sense of sensitivity? And I'm not being racist. I'm being what do you call that? What I call it? A classist, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't let no other class of music lets us in. Not country, not China, not motherfucking Japan, Russia, nobody. But every time you see one of these other classes doing some hip-hop shit or doing some dance moves that they stole, who's the ones propagating it, talking about, oh, this is cool, that looks fresh, big up, my man. What the fuck? Don't nobody else do that. Everybody else say, get your black ass the fuck out our genre. But us? We allow everybody. You allow motherfuckers to sing in a cornfield with a cowboy hat talking about cow poop and shit and say, yo, his verses was nice. The fuck out of here. The fuck out of here. And then you wonder why our culture has been so watered down and this, that, and the third, because you got motherfuckers going... And now that I got no teeth, I can't even do the whistle song no more. You know what I'm saying? I just hold them down the street and they make fun of this shit. You got fucking the duck on fucking Affleck rhyming.
Right.
How much of a mockery are you gonna make it? But everybody in the black culture, oh, that's nice. Look at how he moves. Look at little Chinese boy doing the shit. Motherfucker. But yeah, you teaching your kid how to shoot a gun and teaching your daughters how to be hoochies. Ha 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 ha. While somebody else is stealing your culture.
So do you think that as black people should have protected the culture more and not allowed other races to come in?
How you gonna have that when you have infighting? You fighting amongst yourself. Forget other people. That just makes the danger even worse, because now instead of just fighting with your own, you fighting with everybody else. Dumbest thing I ever seen in my life. But yet, I'm an old drunk, remember? I drink a lot, so whatever Shan says shouldn't mean anything, because he's drunk all the time.
I think that a lot of people still care what you think, though, Shan. I think a lot of people really do care about your insight on hip-hop culture and the way that you view it today, the way that things have changed and the way that what you presented to the culture before.
All right, but if I'm sitting here explaining to you why we did it, we didn't do it to bash each other. We didn't do it to say, we did this to show people that we had plights in the hood that the newspapers wouldn't cover. And so hip-hop was used as like our little telegraph. We didn't know before hip hop, New York didn't connect with LA, St. Louis, Florida, Midwest. We didn't connect. None of us connected. We were black men stuck in our ghettos and under our plights that nobody was talking about. And us as hip hop artists, you got the Chuck D's. If you notice, a lot of our stuff was a time for us to defend ourselves, was about the system and what perils await. But even me, with Jane, stop this crazy thing. Although I was the biggest coke sniffer, I wouldn't make a song saying sniff coke. But these kids nowadays, they'll be drinking lean and tell the next kid to drink lean. Mm-hmm. It was a very different culture when I was doing it. And so when I'm saying it, I'm just telling people what I know. I'm not guessing this. I'm not reading this from a magazine. I'm not making any speculations. I'm speaking from straight fact of what I was there and you wasn't.
But do you think that the reason why people are arguing over who created it is a way for them to try to take back ownership because it was not...
What ownership? What money you getting? They own everything already. What money?
So you're saying it's too late now. It's too late now.
Thank you. And what money you getting? Yeah, okay, yeah. You won that argument. You got the first one. Where the money at? Even if they give you the title of being first this, first that, what the fuck money you get? Nothing. So you fighting a lost cause. And the agents are constantly putting this around us to keep us from keeping our eye on the prize. Period.
So what do you think Black people should have done in the beginning for hip hop then? Should they have just been more controlling about who they invited in?
How can you be that when they controlled you anyway? When we got in this, we had to see, unlike what they do now, and they're still using these artists to their advantage. Unlike now, you had to go and they had records to sell. You didn't have the internet where you know, if this was back then when we were making records, some of these people wouldn't be making records now, because if we had the internet, we'd have took it over, tore it up, and kept the hip hop the way it is. But see, records phased out. Now everybody can make a record, right?
Right.
But who are the only ones out here starving enough to keep on putting their music on the internet? You don't see Taylor Swift doing it. You don't see a bunch of big artists doing that shit. You don't see that. So guess what? They're still using the artists because they're using the artists to get money in commercials, right? You're putting up your streams for free. You get 1,500 streams to make one record sale. That's worse than when the fuck. I don't even have 1,500 people I know is alive as old as I am. So how profitable is the record business for me, right? But you young cats, they still robbing it because look how much you make and look how much you got to grind. They're not going to sign you unless you done built your social media. You built your social media up to a certain platform. They're not going to look at you. So you do all the work. You don't get a budget anymore. You go film your own videos. You do all of this. You do everything for your own career. And you give it to them so they can take one MP3 and put it on one MP3 now. Back in the days, remember when you sold physical copies, you had to make thousands and hundreds of thousands of them, right? Nowadays, you can make one MP3. I've done it myself and sell it to the world. No packaging cost, nothing cost. Just put it on the internet. Everybody can get it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Messed up the music business, messed up everything, but still, there's a way that they're doing this now. And it's the same game, but it's just a different way of going about it. And this way, since there was no regulations written in the beginning, see, with physical records and CDs, there was a back and forth about how much you pay for your package, how much you pay for this, how much you pay for this. So there was a line of dialogue of what you was getting and what you weren't getting. Internet wasn't invented then, so internet and our contracts were known as anything that comes further in the universe. Ask anybody about that's old school. They've got something in the contract that covers that section, and they've got something in that contract that covers the fucking future, the Jetson age. Only difference is the Jetson age didn't have a standard. The Jetson age didn't have a particular, we pay you this, because nobody knew about it. The internet was like the Wild Wild West. And they figured out that the Wild Wild West, shit, we still control that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And so we out here on the internet at the Wild Wild West, motherfucker, while they making all the money regardless. Everybody on Instagram thinks they're a star. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
And they like this. Why? Because they can use that to be that agent and steer and direct your intelligence. They're gathering information on everybody out here, period. And it's a funnel of information that's good. See, before, you used to have to go to a bunch of things to sign up. Now, when you go to sign up on something, what you say, you could sign in by Google, right?
Right.
You know what? You got lazy because you don't want to type in all of that. So everything that you're doing is now you got to do through Google. Guess what they're doing? Funneling all the information where they used to have to go to 12 and 13, 14 sites to get everything about you. Now they can go to one place because now you done clicked it, and they funnel all the information into one tube because it starts out wide at the bottom. You can't control this wide bottom. You can't control that wide bottom, but you can control the flow of information as you get to the top. See how slim it gets?
Right.
I know I sound like one of them conspiracy theorists, but if you think about what the fuck I'm saying, it's like the nigga ain't as drunk as he be all the time anyway.
Nah, you speaking facts, man.
He might be drunk.
What do you think about how, in the beginning, these record companies were ran predominantly by white people, right? So those shady practices were then taught to, black executives who did the same shady practices. What do you think about that?
Music business was ran by the mafia, son. The mafia controlled it, okay? And so the mafia rule still is in effect today. If anybody don't know, you look back at any of them record companies, the mob said what was up. So it was a mafia-run business. And so it was all about profit. Fuck how you feel, blah, blah, blah. Push the artists out. At least back then, they would develop an artist. They would work with them. They wouldn't just kick them off their first record. It didn't work. Get out of here. We'll find somebody new because they got it now like that. They could pick somebody new at random. But back then, they developed their artists. They taught them how to be artists. Gave them dance lessons. Made them know how to sing. They gave them the whole spectrum. Don't you notice that most of the black acts from back then could dance and do a bunch of shit? Because they sent them to school to become the artists that they became. Aretha Franklin, Diana Ross, and the rest of them. They sent them to school. Even during my era, they would give you a freaking chance until you tell somebody that they're a bundle of sticks. Right?
Right.
Your first album didn't work, but we're going to work on that. Let's work on that. See, what they did was they took me from a hood motherfucker and tried to make me into something that I wasn't. And so I blew that deal.
There was more artist development back then. There was more artist development. There's none of that now. Like you were saying, you got to get your own social media popping. You got to get everything, and then they'll put a little bit of money into you, but not as much as they used to.
Right. Now, look, an artist got to understand this, that if you can watch Snoop Dogg, one of the greatest rappers on this earth, right? And he's in the studio with Dre, and he's saying his rhyme, but he looks over to Dre. Yo, Dre, did I say that right? That right there is an artist that knows his fucking way through this music. He knows that he got it, but even at this point in Snoop's life, he still depends on Dre to be the producer and say, well, I didn't like that. And when Dre says, I don't like that, you think Snoop fucking yell at him? Or say, no, Snoop just say, all right, I'm going to try it like that. Try it like that. That's it. Producers don't even produce anymore. They just let an artist go in the booth say what they say. They don't know how to direct their cadence. They don't know how to tell them that it sounds like you're reading. I'm going to need a little bit more feeling in what you're saying because I don't even believe you. And with music, see how people can look in your face when it's visual, when it's on TV and when it's visual. They can look in your face and tell your emotions. With music, it's very different. You have to use your voice to fluctuate and make people feel emotion. You see what I'm saying? See how I took you into a suspenseful mood just by my voice and my tone? And then you bring it back up. You see what I'm saying? So your voice controls that mood, even when people are not looking. You set the mode, you set the pace. And so it's very important as a music artist to be able to use your voice to crescendo and make people feel the love in your heart and then feel the low in your fucking voice so that they know how to feel while they're listening. Our art that's been lost by these fucking new How can you fucking tell a motherfucker how to mumble? It just comes out.
Yeah, see, like what you're saying with the inflections, right? The cadence and everything. There's a difference between a beat maker and a producer. The producer was like the person that orchestrated everything, put it together. That's why, Dre, maybe he doesn't make every single beat or whatever, but he orchestrates the whole thing where he's like,
I was just about to, after you finish, right? Quincy Jones was just that. Quincy Jones did not have to make any of the music. They would call Quincy Jones to come in to make this music a song. So Quincy didn't actually produce everything that he did. Well, he produced it, but it was already a piece of work that needed sculpting. It needed a few fine edges, and that's what producers do. Dre is a great one. Timbaland, a great one. You know what I'm saying? And there's a couple of other ones out here, but I just want to stand on those right there.
There's just so many layers to it that I think that people really miss,
Yeah, well, we're telling them about it now, so they're going to have to refresh themselves if they want to feel the glory and joy that I feel.
One thing I wanted to ask you, because I feel like there is a lot of division in today's world, right? When you were growing up in New York, what was the racial relations like between blacks and Puerto Ricans, though? Did everybody get along, like from what you actually witnessed?
That's like asking, do this pack of roaches get along with that pack of roaches and we live in the same kitchen? Of course we did. Of course we did. The Bronx, full of blacks and Latinos, all over New York, full of blacks, Latinos. See, down here in Atlanta, I can't find many Puerto Ricans. Most of the Spanish speakers in Atlanta are Mexican.
Right.
But in New York, all up there, everywhere you turn, when you hear somebody go, mira, mira, caliente, you know that's some Puerto Rico, dos con pollo. My man, papi, no problem. You know that's New York.
Yeah, I feel like New York is really different from a lot of different places, right? Like when you like you said, in the South, it's like the tensions between races are a little bit, more intense, it seems, because when we talk about hip hop and everything, a lot of people, they throw in those type of arguments, about people not getting along. But in New York, it was a different kind of vibe.
No, it wasn't. We didn't get along. You don't see me and Chris got one of the biggest battles ever in hip hop. We didn't get along all the time and just nobody got killed. We didn't get along all the time. Not even.
Well, no, I meant as far as races go. The between the, like you were saying about between the blacks and the Puerto Ricans, they got along more, in New York, because a lot of people will say that they people view them as almost one and the same.
Listen, let me tell you, you had the same tensions in New York between the blacks and Puerto Ricans as they did in L.A. You had the black spades, you had the Puerto Rican gangs, and this is going back to black spade days of the real gangsters of the Bronx, the real gangs, not that whoop whoop whoop, the real gangs. You could go back and look at the gangs, and so the gang culture, it was like the blacks and Puerto Ricans got along. But guess what? We got our own clique. I'm the Black Spades and y'all are the Puerto Rican so-and-so. Okay? And why was that? That was just to make sure that one side don't take over the other side with dominance. And so everybody has to put their clique together. So although we were together, we also, just as every other country around the world, we were apart. But we were together. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at the gang culture in LA with the blacks and the Hispanos, same thing. Why did the Hoover Crips make the Hoover Crips? Because it was to combat the Mexicans or whoever was coming in their neighborhood. So gangs started out very different. But that's just the way it was. And New York is no different than any other place. We loved our Spanish brothers, but we also had our problems with them too, as well as they had problems with us. But it never was a thing where we all in the ghetto. How can I hate your Roach Pond when I got the same Roach Pond over here?
Do you think that...
And we all was scared of Raid and shit. And they go, anytime we see Raid, where we going? I don't care whether you Puerto Rican, whether you what. We see Raid, and we out.
Right. Do you think that the gangs had a strong influence on creating hip hop?
It was totally outside of hip hop because, see, hip hop was the thing to keep people out of the gang. See what I'm saying? That was the avenue, where the OGs would tell shorties, yo, shorty, get up out the street. Yo, you good with that rhyming. Don't even come over here. Stay off the block, son. We better not catch you on the block. You too good at that rhyming stuff. You stay over there. That's when the OGs would do that. But the OGs don't do that no more. The OGs nowadays, they just sit silent. You know what I'm saying? And I can understand why. Because why would you keep talking to somebody that don't want to hear it? And when you got all the knowledge to stop them from bumping their head and you're telling them that you don't have to, and that all you're getting is rebuttal and fuck it, you get tired. It's like, what the fuck? Fuck it. I'm not even going to bother with these little young boys no more. Not that we don't like them. It's just you knuckleheads and you don't fucking listen and you want to think that you know every motherfucking thing. That's cool. Take you back to the day when your mama told you that pop was hot, right? She got tired of you trying to reach for it. And then she said, all right, go ahead, touch that shit and you burnt the shit out your hand. Why does it take us? You already learned that don't touch the pot lesson, so why do we got to keep teaching you that 20 years into your life when we're telling you that pot is hot, don't touch that shit, you're going to burn yourself?
Do you think that there's a level of the OGs not respecting the younger crowd as well, so that there's a, kind of a mutual respect so that they are willing to listen?
Man, fuck that. Ain't nobody asking little young motherfuckers for shit. Nigga, y'all don't run shit. Fuck out of here. Back in the days, like I said, kids ought to be seen and not heard. And right now, y'all are little young kids trying to be heard, son. Sit down and listen to your elders. That's what your problem is. You think you know everything. Period. You ain't got shit to say. Shut the fuck up. In my house, that's what you would have got. You would have got slapped in your mouth for just even... If your mama thought that you thought some crazy shit in your head, you was getting slapped in your mouth, straight up. Bang! Just for thinking it. Nowadays, these children will say it out of their mouths and have no repercussion to what they calling their mother a bitch and all kind of shit. Look out of here.
So let's talk about the Diddy situation.
That situation too, but we could talk about it. Let's go. That's a funny one. Let me get a one. Shit, I ain't all scared and shit. See, you can't get mad when you put your business in the street and people talk about it, make memes about you and what. You can't get mad because if you didn't want your business in the street, you'd have made sure it didn't get there. Now let's talk about this puffy nigga.
Damn, Shan, you got a mini fridge in the room too? Yo, you living the life, man. For real.
Mini fridge. It ain't full of Cristal. It's full of these.
So yeah, I saw that you were, you shared your opinion on Diddy, but at the same time, you were supportive of him at the same time. Like we are all without sin, right? Can you elaborate on that?
Look, but because it's not that I'm with him as long as none of that bullshit comes out. But it's starting to see that it's a lot of bullshit coming out. All right? And so with Puff, it's like he gonna get what he deserves. It's nothing I can do. I can feel for him and all that shit. He could have done things for me. Or like I said, the reason why I with Puff is because I had a car accident. Puff stopped his cab and made sure I was all right. He was paying on the meter. He stopped his cab, this motherfucker, make sure that I'm all right. And I'm a real motherfucker. You don't forget real shit like that. And so Puff has never crossed me. And so I can't, only way I'll say he crossed me was by diddling little kids. You crossed me with that. That's the only thing I can say. But I can't dwell on his situation like that. The only thing I can say is I'm sorry for the children that it happened to, but the grown-ups that had a choice between staying and leaving, I have no sympathy for you. You can't tell me you let a man beat your asshole up and then say, oh, I didn't say anything because, motherfucker, you should have bit his prick off.
So in regards to the children, we're saying if that is true, because we don't have all the evidence yet, we don't know yet, right? But I from what I'm hearing from you, you can only judge him from your experience with him, and your experience was positive.
Right, but that don't mean he's not a demon or a devil in my eye too. Right. Don't take that as I'm vindicating this motherfucker. Hell no. I'm not vindicating him because I've seen enough stories of sending Usher to the hospital to know that motherfucker, I can't stand with you like that, nigga. Fuck out of here.
Right. What did you think
what that would be is like me standing with my abuser. I got diddled when I was a kid, right? Yeah. I didn't get but I got diddled, right? By a man. Mm-hmm. Now that would be me being on the side of the worst monster I ever met in my life. Me standing behind Puffy with that shit. I would never disrespect myself like that. To stand behind a monster that preys on children. I would never do that shit. And they're monsters. They're slick. They will have your family convinced it's okay to come with me. And you have you scared to tell your family what's going on. So that is the pedophile's biggest thing, for people to keep silent. Tell your children if someone touches them, talk about it. But fathers, here's one clue I'm going to give you. Never make your child think that you're going to do anything to that person, because now they have to think, do they save them or they save you? Saving you because they know that what you're going to do to this guy is going to send you to jail for 1,000,000 years. And so when you talk to your children about these type of situations, you don't talk to them like, you just tell them, let them know that you're behind them, you got their back. But as fathers, never tell your child that you're going to kill a motherfucker if they touch him. Right. Never do that. Because that right there is the first thing that the accuser can use to continue to do what he does. So make sure that when it comes to this child molestation and this Puffy shit, like I say, I like to bring out the real issues. I deal with real people that deal with real issues in real time all the time. And so when it comes to this right here, you have to discuss it. Young men, it's very shameful, as far as people say, to talk about it's not your fault. You are the victim. You are not the perpetrator. Young ladies, you are the victim. You are not the perpetrator. Tell somebody, lose that feeling of self-guilt like it was your fault. It wasn't your fault. You just was around a pedophile. That's it. You have no fault in it. Lose that. Move on with your life. None of it was your fault. And that's coming from a victim, okay? A motherfucker that wish a nigga would.
So, Shan, earlier you were saying that you don't have sympathy for the adults that were involved. Are you talking about the ones that are involved in the freak offs, or are you talking about like Cassie, or who are you talking about in particular? Because I know they're going to
The
ask.
ones that I'm talking about, the ones that stuck around. Okay? And you're on the red carpet, nothing but federal agents all around. At any point, you could have slipped one of them a note, or you could have just stood your hands up and screamed, "I'm being held captive by this nigga right here. I'm being held." And you didn't. So now I have to question what your moral was. Were you in it for the money, the glory, and the fame, and you would take and any abuse that was given or served upon you just to become part of this world here? Because the nigga done whipped your ass like 50 motherfucking times. How many times a motherfucker got to whip your ass before you learn?
What about the video that you saw in the hotel of what he did? Did you not feel sympathy for her when you saw that, though?
Fucking ain't right. I felt sympathy for her for that shit. I wished it was my daughter. That's what the fuck. I don't wish that it was. I don't want nobody to do that to my daughter, but I'm sitting there saying to myself, son, she got a father. She got brothers. She's like your mother. She's like your sister. Would you want somebody to be kicking your mother in the hallway? Your sister, he got daughters. You want somebody to kick your daughter in the hallway like that? And so I wished at that point, and you know, motherfucker, that's my daughter. I'm going to kill you. And ain't nothing in the world will stop me from doing it. I don't give a fuck. I would turn into a ninja, my nigga. I would turn into a ninja. After that, motherfucker, anything, all the security in the world couldn't save you.
So, all right. So
I'd be ready, yo. Because I know what it is. Motherfucker, that I'm running up with 2 motherfucking 40 clips like a motherfucker spraying everything. Fuck it. Niggas that hang with you getting it because you did some shit like that. That's the type of vengeance that people like myself that have been victimized, that's the vengeance we feel for that type of shit. The vengeance that we feel is phenomenal. If we could be arrested for the things that we think what to do to pedophiles, motherfucker, you put us under the jail.
But you don't think that people were really afraid of Diddy? They were afraid of how powerful he was and what he could do to them?
As you should be. As you should be. And those within his close circle knew how his power was and knew how he used it and knew how he can distribute it. So either you play smart, you either fucking take the money or you take the bullet. The old cartel way, the old cartel way. Either you take the motherfucking money or you take the bullet. What's up? Which one? Which one you gonna take?
But for her to not leave, though, right? What if she was really scared? She was really scared of his power, right?
Listen, I don't know what it was. I can't get in her mind. I can't even begin to fathom what was going through her mind not to leave, being abused. I can't even fathom what she thought. I wouldn't even speculate what she thought. All I'm saying is I saw the deed, and that means that, yo, you're a fucked up dude, son. But as far as what she thought and how she went about her way, I'm just expressing what I thought I might have done on the red carpet if I was being held captive. That's my thoughts. That's not me being judgmental of her to say that that's what you should have done, because we all make choices in our own fucking way for our own safety.
Mm-hmm.
If she might have done that on the red carpet, it might have got her mama and everybody knocked the fuck off. You don't know what the fuck this nigga done told her in the background, what he may do if you ever.
Right.
And just because of his aura and who he is and knowing what's capable, well, is it impossible to believe that it just may happen? Blowing up people's cars and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? If the rumor can halfway be substantiated, why not think that the whole thing could be carried out on you?
Right. So you were saying though, people should have shared their true feelings to his face because it seems like now everybody's willing to come out and say something, right? And
Right.
why do you think that only now people are coming out and saying this? Because they see him like in a
He's
position of being
powerless
weak?
now. He's powerless now. The judge won't even let him out of jail for on bail because they feel that he's such a danger to the public. They doing to him what they've never done to any mafia boss in the whole history of the United States. Denied this man bail and saying he's so dangerous that he's like second on the list to Osama bin Laden. Excuse me. They won't even let him out of jail because they think he's that dangerous. And they're not doing it on speculation. The feds have come up with so much evidence that can prove, because the judge has to look at it legally. He can't look at it personally and judge Puffy personally like me and you would. He has to go under the letter of the law. And so in order for him to exercise his motherfucking rights as a judge, you have to come to me with something that says, don't let this motherfucker out. Well, I got to let him out. And so what that means is that they got some shit on him that the judge and those behind the scenes know about, that none of us in public know about, is the reason why they ain't letting him out and calling him a danger to the public. Who the fuck gets named a danger to the public?
But don't you think that, like, man, like, it just seems like every single day a more wild accusation keeps coming out? Like, is all of this possible to be true? Or, like, I mean, some of this has to be like somebody looking for a payday or something, right?
No. If it looked like a duck, walk like a duck, what the fuck is it? It's a duck, bro.
So you don't think that any of these accusations could be somebody just trying to take advantage of the moment?
Of course. Of course. That most definitely there's a few people jumping on the bandwagon. Mm-hmm. But we can't take and use them. See, here we go again. Now, instead of us looking at the victims, they got us looking at the people who might have up claims, right? So instead of us feeling for the victims, now they got us focusing on who's making false claims against Puffy. And now that's wrong. And now that's vindicating him on the side of the fact that he did this shit, because we're even debating over here. You know what I'm saying? It's all that fucking trickery shit again, my nigga. I don't know why people don't see this shit.
So you came out with a video recently where you were talking about your children and the trauma that you caused them with arguing with their mothers or other things. What made you want to come out and speak about something like that?
Because it's important. I seen the trauma that I was in a situation, man. I was getting ready to get locked the fuck up for some shit that I didn't do on purpose. See what I'm saying? And just because their mother is the way she is, she thought that, oh, I'm going to finally pay you back. And in the end of the day, you can't with a person that walks in the light, because the end situation is I was stressed. You watched me go through depression during those video times. I was in a deep state of depression, but I've been in depression before. I also spoke about depression. People don't know what depression looks like. I know what it looks like. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to do shit, knowing you got shit to do and all that. Y'all will see me walk through this shit. I thought I was going to lose. I was going to go from having an A-class RV to sitting in an 8x10, all kind of shit. But now what happened was, because me and my baby mama be arguing in front of my kids, I don't want to do it, but she doesn't understand when I say not in front of my sons. You still doing this shit. And so what happened in court with me was a blessing in disguise, because now I get to relinquish that negative shit in my life, okay? You caused it. You could have gotten me out of it, but instead this month I had to pay $8,000 out of my pocket for something that you could have came and said, boom. And in the end of the day, they just kicked me out of court anyway and said, if you do this, you do this. It's not even on your record. Pay us this money. So they stamped my shit and said what my charge was. I went and paid all that shit. So I was off the minute I was on. But it cost me. And so now She can't ask me for very much because remember, you got whatever you want to write down the sum, 8,000 on a piece of paper. If you need 300 for this, mark that off. When you get to zero, then you can call me again because me spending $8,000 in a month on the whiff of your word, man, I will never involve myself in that situation again. And once people can use words or can control your life and put you in a situation that you don't want to be in, it's time to go, son.
You know, one thing I notice about you, Shan, is that you don't care. You care more about the truth than anything, right? You care about being honest, even if it makes you look in a bad light. You're just keeping it real all the time. And a lot of people, I don't think, would have made a video like that. But to you, it's important, almost as you're using it as a teaching moment.
That's exactly what I use it for, because if you notice, it was to the parents. It was to the parents. And in order for them to understand what I said, I have to admit my faults in it. And so that they can see their faults. And so if you look at me as a motherfucker, like, I don't care, because there's a lot of me's out here that need to hear this, that know how to know the damage, that understand the damage that they're doing to their children, even at my own peril. And I do a lot of things at my own peril. I don't mind the criticism that people give me. I don't mind them calling me a crackhead. I don't give a That's when I start showing you niggas boats and buses and shit that you ain't got. How you feel now? You dig what I'm saying? But in the end of the day, my whole thing is about the truth, about trying to help somebody else, especially these kids, because I'm damaged from that shit. And I saw the damage that I was doing to my sons by that shit. My sons got so used to me and their mother arguing that shit. We could be in here arguing like a motherfucker. They wouldn't even get off a PlayStation. Now that's fucked up. Right. Because usually a child would be concerned whether it's going to be. So that shows you it's a lot of arguing, no physicality. So, because a child who was in them physical things would always want to run, try and protect the mother or protect the father or get in between. These motherfuckers were so used to us arguing that motherfucker wouldn't even get off PlayStation. Like, here we go again. Close the door, Ethan. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that around them. And so the courts gave me a thing. They said, I can go to jail right now if I argue with her. If I even argue with her and she put me on tape, or if I send her a fucked up message, my nigga. And the courts did that on purpose. They did that just to say, motherfucker, we warned you, right? Now we gonna put it in your hands. Up again, and you ain't getting off this time, bitch. Because we know the situation at your house. All right, we know the situation. Well, let it happen again, motherfucker. So we're going to put this stipulation on you. Not a no contact because me and her have children, but go ahead and fuck with her if you want to. Your ass going to jail, nigga. And so before I would put myself or my kids in that position, I would just not deal with that situation the way that I've been. But I'm not going to be an asshole. I still have to be a co-parent with her, but I'm not going to be an asshole co-parent. You just can't ask me for certain things. That those days are over. You were willing to throw me to the wolves, right? And if you were willing to throw me to the wolves, I got to look at you as one of them wolves, which means that I'm in a pack by myself. And that's the way I got to move from now on. She don't know that she changed me forever. Trusting people, especially women. I don't trust you, bitch. Straight up. You look me in my face and tell me you love me and then serve me to the f***ing demon. Get the f*** out of here. And watch, there's somebody out there listening to this that's going to say, damn, that's the same shit that's happening to me. And I don't mind them knowing that this is my situation, because everybody thinks that somebody of celebrity status don't have problems. Or when you get a little bit of money, it stops. It never stops. No. It never stops. You see all the good things I be out here doing with my kids and stuff, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, bam, I'm facing jail. What the f***? Right. I'm doing so good. What the f***? I gotta be what? I don't even deal with that world. But yet, boom. When people are in your life and they can change your life in a breath of a word, motherfucker, you gotta think about what the f*** you're doing and how you doing it.
And I think that this is a really good life lesson for people out there. You know what I mean? You got to be really careful who you have children with because you're forever connected to that person.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that, sir.
So you were talking about you don't care the way that people criticize you online, the way they call you all types of things, right? Like,
Right?
do you think that that comes from you having harsh opinions, or you think that that's just people being people in general?
It comes from the truth, period. You won't call me a crackhead, motherfucker. I smoke mad crack. I fucking deserve that label. And guess what? Motherfuckers wanna try and say, oh, I was the biggest crackhead in the rap game. And I'll admit to it because I'm not the type that'll tell on other people to make myself look good. I've gotten high with some of the biggest motherfuckers in the rap industry that you fucking can name. And you would be surprised at their names, but I would never tell it. And they know my integrity is like that. I don't give a fuck. Y'all can push me in the corner and say, crackhead, crackhead. In order for me to get out of it, I'm not going to say, well, I'm not the only crackhead. This guy's a crackhead, and that guy's a crackhead, and that guy's a crackhead. That ain't my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I stand on 10 toes. So, yeah, I was a crackhead, motherfucker. And what? Look at me now. Look at me now.
I know that after music, you've experienced more happiness doing what you're doing now, right? As opposed to when you were in the industry and living up to the hype of who is MC Shan and this image and everything. But now you're online and you're sharing all of your opinions the way that you do. Do you think that being this version of yourself has tarnished that music legacy at all?
Doesn't even matter. That shit don't matter to me. Fuck my music. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Not in my life. And if anybody that loves me, they would come with me on my journey that I'm on now and say, Shan, that's some shit you did. I want to see what you're doing now. I want to see you build these buses. I want to see you fucking build go-karts from scratch and weld some shit. I never knew you can weld, Shan. If you're not with me in my life right now, I don't give a fuck about you and that music. You could take that shit back 20 years ago because you can only do something once, right?
Right.
You can't go back and do it and get it again. Your first fucking nut you ever bust, right? You'll never get that feeling again. You only get it once, motherfucker. And so you can only be that once. So me trying to chase MC Shan is like like me chasing a genie. MC Shan doesn't exist. He's somebody that I made up, right? And I would be a dick to be Shan Markie trying to run behind a fucking character that I made up. I'd be a dickhead. MC Shan ain't nothing but a fucking character, a voice that when MC Shan kicking up, when I go, you love to hear the story again and again. Until then, I'm me. And that's why you see the way I am on Instagram. That's me. That's not MC Shan. I'm not MC Shan in real life. In real life, this is me. When I get on stage, that's MC Shan. Okay? So let's get that shit straight with these folks right now. Because I only turn into him then. So any other time, what you're seeing is the real me. Something that people in the music business are ashamed of people to see, that you have problems, that you have this and you have that and you have this. But I let everybody know the ups, the downs, the highs and the lows. You know what I'm saying? And it's good for me. Why? Because I'm an introvert. You never see me around nobody, do you? You always see me around my children. So these people that I deal with on the internet, there's some I've been dealing with. I don't even know them personally, but I consider them friends because of their caring and they're checking on me and this, that, and the third. And so that's where I get my fun at, the internet. I don't have fucking friends in real life. Some of you guys, you got a nickel, right? You think you're a nickel and you got all these people in your circle and shit. You got a nickel. My shit is a dime, son. I got less people to look after. I ain't got to watch this one, that one, that one. On top of that, see your nickel, how big it is? See my dime? It's worth more than your nickel, nigga. So never think that because it's smaller that your worth is more. That's all I'm saying.
It's facts, man. So you go against a lot of society norms. I was watching the short documentary that you did on Rock the Bells, and you spoke about your two children that had passed, rest in peace, and you cried, but you said, "Don't think I'm weak because I cried. Real men cry." And that's something that society often goes against, right? We don't teach little boys it's okay to cry or express themselves, and it creates a lot of issues when they grow older.
Okay, but hey, you got that coming from a motherfucker that'll chop your head off with no motherfucking remorse. Okay? So if a motherfucker that'll chop your head off, did you see the video I put up with G-Rap where G-Rap had to tell nigga, yo, Shan really about that business, right?
Right.
Shan really about that business, so if I'm really about that business, you think I'm gonna care about that? If it came down to it, that ain't what I am nowadays. But if it came down to me having to protect my children or whatever, I'm gonna do what the fuck I do. Right. You dig what I'm saying? So there's two sides of every coin, depending on which side of the coin you want to play with. You want with the shiny side, or do you want to fuck with the side that's a little bit dull and abused and whatnot? Because the dull and abused side don't give a fuck. Because that nigga got a half a face left anyway.
Yeah, no, I was just commending you because of you being able to really show those emotions and keep it real the way that you do. You know, I felt that when I was watching that short documentary and you were displaying those emotions, you were like, this is just me. Like, I don't care what you think, you know?
Yo, on the Nori show, if anybody watched that Nori show, I cried on Nori's show, right? And then I threatened anybody in the audience. Y'all niggas won't call me anything, nigga. I'll meet you outside right now. That's how crazy I get with it, yo. It's like this. Go ahead and call me a bitch because you see me crying, nigga. I'll meet you outside in the parking lot right now. What's up? But motherfuckers understand, you know, real men you don't have to explain things to. They have emotions and they cry by themselves. They will never let you see it. If you don't cry, go ahead and tell me you don't cry.
Oh, of course I cry.
All right then. And just like most men, they cry. We just won't let you see it. But I'm one to just fucking put it out there, let people like myself who are scared to cry and show people their emotions in public that you're not by yourself. And like I said, I'll be the one to stand up and take that bullet just so you know that you're not by yourself, because I don't want to feel like I'm by myself. And I'm only mentioning this to get credence from you to let me know. See, a lot of stuff when I say it, it's because I feel alone in that space. And in order for me not to feel alone in that space, I'm willing to put my shit out there to say, yo, do anybody else feel like this shit? And that's therapy for me. Because I don't have friends that I sit around and talk about, because the shit they talk about ain't even what the fuck I'm talking about. Y'all talking about bullshit. I'm trying to talk about this money. And so I don't have friends like that, because they all want to talk about bullshit and not get this money. Or they want to look at me like I'm a spend the money to get them money. Fuck you.
Right. You know, I think that it's really inspirational to people that are watching, because they could be like, yo, Shan's willing to even show his emotions and he don't care. You know, it makes me feel okay to do the same thing, you know, because, I think that as little boys, we're often taught like we express our emotions through anger instead of, you know, crying, because it doesn't provide the same relief, though.
That's the new generation. Back in the days, you got your ass whooped, nigga. Shut the fuck up with that nigga shit. And that's what made us men. That's what made us men. Fuck out of here. You got your ass whooped for doing some nigga shit. Nowadays, these little young men don't even fight because you're scared to get a black eye. But guess what? When you got that ultimate thunderstorm ass whooping from your mother, ain't nothing in the street gonna scare you. Nothing in the street gonna scare your ass ever again. You'll look at a motherfucker and tell him, yo, my mama hit harder than that, nigga. Bang, 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 bang. I'm telling you, yo.
People are more afraid of you calling their parents, you know what I mean, if you got that ass whooping, than they are of anything.
No, I came from an era that was like this, yo. If my partner's mama caught me f***ing up, she f***ed me up, took me to my mama. My mama ain't said shit about her f***ing me up. And then I got another ass whooping because TT had to f*** you up. Why the TT gotta f*** you up for some shit you would have known better? So f*** that TT, thank you, because I'm gonna beat this nigga ass right now. And TT stole away and shit, motherfucker. My mama ain't gonna jump in her face. You hit my kid? Oh, what? We about to get it. It wasn't that. We were raised as a village back then. The village is no longer. I would get my ass whooped from my friends' mothers, and my mother wouldn't say shit. Only thing I'd get, wait till your father come home. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you it's a funny one. My father had a way of taking his fucking belt off in one swap like this. Swoop, swoop, in one swap. Now get me. He'd unsnap that bitch, pull it out, and then a whip out of his fucking belt loop, and he'd come back and swam. All in one motherfucking whoop. Wow, pow! Nigga, you ain't never been scared of nothing like that. So like I said, the only thing that motherfucker was doing to me in the street, nigga, wasn't nothing. F*** you, nigga, my papa.
So you think that that type of parenting actually helped you, raised you better?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It made me understand that there were consequences. See, these kids don't understand that jail is a consequence. Although it's not hurting, getting your ass beat, it's a consequence all in the same. If you don't do the right thing, this is what you get. When I grew up, if you didn't do the right thing, this is what you get. So it all correlated with each other. That you're going to have to suffer, whether it be beating or whatever the you're going to have to suffer for your actions. And so we were taught this from a young age, period. You're going to get your ass whooped. Better come in house with the, don't come here with a f***ed up report card. Don't come here, better take that garbage out. Now, let me have to ask you to wash them dishes again. You knew you were going to get f***ed up. There were consequences for small things. Not doing the dishes will get your ass f***ed up. Let your mama smell the fucking garbage because you didn't take the shit out and the incinerator is right up the hallway. You were getting your ass whooped. So many consequences that you had to think on your toes and walk on eggshells because you knew that one of these motherfucking eggshells is going to get my ass whooped. You just didn't know which one.
Can you talk about the first time that you met Biz Markie?
Biz Markie, I met I had a friend that lived upstairs on the 5th floor, Lisa and Trina and them, and they had a uncle called Philip, and for years Phil used to say, "Yo, Shan," because he's from Long Island. "Yo, I got a cat in Long Island that you need to meet. His name is Biz." Yeah. One day Biz came out to Queensbridge. Me and Molly going in the building, and Biz came up and said, "Yo, my name Biz Markie." And we went to the hallway, and he showed us what the fuck he could do. That shit made us both drop to the ground like, what the fuck? Biz said, I don't want to disrespect you, Biz, but I'm fucking doing it anyway. I want to. My name is Biz Markie. And that's Empty Champ. And that's Molly Mark. And we came to do it. A little something. I like this. All of his beats and rhymes are clear. Biz Markie the beat, man. It was over from then. Biz Markie came into the business through me. But because of the way the Juice Crew worked, it's how people think that he was out with Shantae first. Because at that point, I was popping, right? And how the Juice Crew did, we always piggybacked and carried other folks until the rest of them niggas came. And then all that carrying stopped. And niggas started thinking they were the shit, right? But we used to carry each other. So at this point, I was up. And Shantae just came off of Queen of Rocks, and she needed something else to do. So after me and Biz did that show at Roseland, it was decided that Biz ain't gonna be your beatbox Shan. We gonna put him with Shantae, and that's when I'm Shantae, he Biz Markie. Rhyme so fresh that you think it's 3. Because that's how we did. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need to hold Biz to myself, but Biz came through me. Biz's first fucking real show was at Roseland with me. And there's a tape out there, Shan and Biz live at Roseland. It still exists. That's the first time me and Biz ever performed together, ever in life.
Wow. How would you describe your guys' friendship over the years?
You can't describe it. Biz is a funny motherfucker, yo. What are you talking about? Yeah, Biz Markie, how the fuck do you describe a friendship with Biz Markie? It's just always fun and always some bullshit at the same time. Not fucked up bullshit, but Biz, there is, go ahead and think you're gonna sleep. The Biz never sleeps, yo. Yo, fuck that. It's always something going on with this nigga. Biz will be, we go to London, and Biz's favorite thing was the phone and shit. That motherfucker be over in London running up a fucking $1 million phone bill. It's okay, because he gonna pay for it, but he would call all the niggas in Long Island talking about, yo, you never guess where I'm at. I'm in England. Queen lives up the street. Biz would run up the biggest fucking phone bill calling back to the state to tell niggas where we are now. Biz is just a one-of-a-kind individual, motherfucker. If you never met him, I'm telling you, you missed something. And it's not, y'all didn't miss it because y'all were part, he gave y'all a part of him that you can understand who he is. So I can't say y'all missed nothing. I'm glad y'all had an experience with this man. This motherfucker here, yo. Right, Fawn? Lyingest motherfucker you ever seen in your life.
It just seems like there wasn't words that could really describe him. Like he was like truly a one of one.
No, I just said it. Lyingest motherfucker you ever seen in your life, and would always say, right, Vaughn? Biz was the funniest motherfucker. He would always, Cool V. He would always go, right. He had 2 backup men. It was Fawn and fucking Swan. Right, Swan? Tell him, Cool V. Tell me I didn't sound like that nigga just did. Tell him, Cool V.
You're channeling him right now.
but the fucking greatest spirit ever.
Do you remember when you found out that he had passed away?
Yeah, I remember. One of them days that you can't forget. What are you talking about? I can't forget that shit. And don't think that I'm fucking going to the same shit that I did on the fucking video. Because, I got a whole mind.
Right.
But when I did find that out, it was... I don't know what to say. It was like a hole. Like something just got took from me. That's all I could say. And that's me being selfish because when Biz died, he left a lot of us with a hole.
Right.
And so I don't want to be like, oh, I got a special patent on the fucking emotions that Biz left. Biz left us all with emotions and shit. So I don't got a patent on it. So my experience and everybody else's experience is like mine don't have no more bigger significance than yours, even if you were a person that was listening to his music.
Mm-hmm.
You got to experience Biz. That's all I can say, lying ass motherfucker, you.
But he had a relationship with your children too, right? Because of Yo Gabba Gabba and everything.
Yeah, he would make sure, he even made sure that I had my tickets. He would take my kids backstage, and my kids were kind of screwed up because Yo Gabba Gabba, they all in puppet cartoons, right?
Right,
so, right. We go behind stage, and they see the costumes sitting on the floor with no people in it. They almost were traumatized. They were traumatized. What happened, Daddy? Look! Where's Roby? He'll take them up to see Lance. Lance giving my kids all the little Lance gift box toys and all that stuff. And every time that they came to Atlanta with Yo Gabba Gabba, I always had front row seats, always had backstage access and all that stuff. And Biz would used to come down off the stage and interact with kids. But I would never bring mine up to the front because I wanted those other kids to have. Biz comes to my house, so I wanted those other kids to have that one-on-one experience with Biz. Because if I would have went up there with my kid, you know he's going to take and mess with mine, right?
Right.
So I say, nah, we ain't gonna go. We got backstage. Let Biz interact with those kids because that's the only chance that they're gonna have. And so I let them go ahead and we go backstage, but I didn't take my kids up there and rob any children of their experience from Biz and none of that because that's just the type of person I am and shit. I'm the evilest motherfucker and I'm the most emotionalist motherfucker, but you gotta watch people like me. Because I love so hard that I hate even harder. You know what I'm saying?
It's a thin line between love and hate.
Ain't no thin line, motherfucker. Ain't no gray area. Either I fucking love you or I hate you. That's it. And when I hate you, ain't no coming back to love. It's done with, son. That's it. It's over with.
So in our last interview, we had spoke about Dr. Umar Johnson, and he's about Pan-Africanism, right? Do you know where your lineage comes from? Like, is your family from the Caribbean or you?
I know where my family comes from. Hold up, give me a minute. My family lineage is Caribbean, St. Croix.
Mm.
My last name is Moki, which in German is Molka. All right? Molka in German, but in English it's Moki. So my ancestors were slaves of the Germans, okay, on the Caribbean island of St. Croix. My lineage, my heritage, my name, it all comes from Caribbean, but you can date my history back to being owned by a German slave owner for simple name. I still carry my slave owner's name to this day, Molka.
Wow.
Here we are fucking years and years later, and I'm still a Molka. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can go look up Moltke, and it's German. And there's a lot of generals, there's a lot of fucking higher up power people who are monkeys in the German culture. Who knows? My fucking great might have been one of the motherfucking Nazi Hitler motherfuckers. I don't know. My name is Moka.
What do you think about, in the recent years, the foundational Black Americans is a movement that has become very popular. Is that something that...
Let's go back to Dr. Umar fucking Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
What about him? You asked me about him.
Or asked you...
I don't know anything. Listen, I don't know anything about Pan-African, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do know one thing about Dr. Umar Johnson. Dr. Umar Johnson is a fucking has a master's in psychology, and so he knows better than most how to manipulate one's mind and their social fucking goings, right?
Right.
And so, what I look at Dr. Umar Johnson and I say, I agree with a lot of the things he says, but it's just the way that we deliver that message is very different, in which he has his right to do and I have my right to do. I look at him as he further separates the Black people by trying to make a Pan-African motherfucking movement that excludes anybody that don't want to get down with his Pan-African bullshit. You see what I'm saying?
You.
And so I look at him as an agent. You are one of those that are still, you have all the facts, and regurgitating facts from a book really sounds good to ignorant motherfuckers. But when you regurgitate that shit to motherfuckers that really know, they're going to engage you in conversation that's going to make you break down what the fuck you kicking. And I'm that motherfucker. And so I wanted to sit across the table from him with that Pan-African bullshit or whatever the fuck he got going on and tell him, I agree with you, son. But then it's like I also look at you like a fucking agent. And on top of that, you know the trick, because the trick in psychology is 3, right? Boom. When you say things 3 times, it makes it stick. It makes it stick. It makes it stick. It makes it stick. That was 4. But when you use things 3 times, you will hear Dr. Umar repeat things 3 times in succession, many a times, which means that he's digging into that psychological knowledge that he has over most to use this psychological trick to bring you over to his side, because things said to you in 3, you might miss it the first time, you might miss it the second time, but the third time, pooh. So listen to Dr. Umar and tell me he doesn't say things in 3s. And I'm not bugging that he uses the fucking technique of psychology to fucking get you to fucking join his Pan-African shit. And if you don't join, you're a agent, like he is, going against what he's saying. That's just like what Hitler did. The fuck you mean? You're a new Hitler? I don't think so, son.
Have you looked into foundational Black Americans and what they believe with Tariq Nasheed?
I ain't looked into nothing, motherfucker. I live for today. I don't give a fuck what niggas do. I know we was in slavery, all that shit. That's why motherfuckers is fucked up. You keep looking back. Keep looking back at what motherfucker. That's the trick, bitch. Keep looking back, motherfucker. You ain't never gonna get forward because you keep looking back. Now I'm gonna ask you this. If you, let's say there's a big 12-foot wall in front of you, right?
Right.
And you're going in the direction of that 12-foot wall, and you looking back. What do you think is going to happen to your monkey ass? You're going to smack your face right into that fucking wall. Why? Because you was looking back. You was looking back. So you just fucking smacked your face into your future with no motherfucking vision of what it looked like because you was looking back. Period. And that's where you waste a lot of time looking back at this, looking back at that. Well, why this? Well, why that? You should never ask why, motherfucker, because there is no question of why. Period. There is no future. And I'm going to prove to you that there is no future, because when you get to the future is now. And so you sitting back trying to look 10 years ahead and 3. You can't even look 1 hour ahead. You don't know whether you're going to drop dead right now. Okay, so let me tell you about how you should live your life. You should always live your life right now, in the present, because the future doesn't exist. Right now, look at this. Right now, 2 seconds ago, this was the future, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it the future? 2 seconds ago, right now was the future, right?
Right.
So what happens when you get to the future? The future becomes now. So there's never a future, motherfucker. There's never a future. Looking forward to a future doesn't exist, because your future is being written every second of your fucking life. And you might not live that motherfucking long to look into the future, so live your life for now, what you have now. Love what you have now. Like what you have now. Enjoy what the fuck you have now, because there is no future, son. But when you get there, you're going to be now. And the only thing that you can do is take the lessons from your past and bring them into your present to preserve what may become your future. Because there ain't no future. It might become it, but it ain't it now. At this point, it's right now. And that's all you got, is right now. That's it. Nothing else.
All right, Shan, I just want to thank you for your time. Is there anything that you want to say to the people before we go ahead and wrap it up?
If they don't fucking like me, fuck it. I don't listen anyway. But I love you. But I love you and thank you for your time, sir. And I hope you ain't getting off, because I started taking it a little bit too deep into the realm of some other shit that might motherfucking turn your show into a conspiracy show or something.
No, I like that stuff. I like talking about that kind of stuff, you know? I mean,
well, I'm going to ask you this. How many artists can you think of that can have these kind of conversations with you? Other than, yo, I'm the best rapper and my shit was this, and bragging about their fucking music. I don't think we talked about my music throughout this whole fucking interview, do you?
No, because we did that the first interview. So I definitely
Right.
wanted to get your take on a lot of different things, but yeah, I don't think that everyone is willing to go on a deeper level of talking about things. You know.
All right. That's all I wanted to hear. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it, sir. And anytime that you already know what it is, anytime you want to do what you got to do, you know who to call.
Right.
BTP Media Group.